It's the morning weather briefing for Friday, the 13th of September. I'm James Spann. Alabama's weather stays unsettled today, tomorrow, and Sunday with occasional showers and thunderstorms each day. How much rain will fall? What about football? We'll talk about it as we go. This is the upper air look across the country early this morning. The ghost of Francine is over northern Arkansas. Also a trough over the northwest United States, and we're in a pretty soupy air mass this morning as we stay on that east side of the circulation. That's the radar composite early this morning. Here's a look at the radar coming out of the Shelby County Airport. We're live at 5:18. And again, you can see at the moment here, the better tropical rains are over the eastern half of the state. Gadsden down to Anniston, Ashland, Lineville, Auburn, Opelika, Phoenix City. Some of the really heaviest rain is falling down south of Phoenix City in Columbus, Georgia. And in this type of tropical air mass, we could see a shower or storm at basically any hour of the day for the next 3 days. But it will not rain the entire time. And again, we'll go through modeling here in just a second. Temperatures are generally in the 70s to start the day. Highs will be upper 70s, low 80s in most spots. Now, there is a flash flood watch in effect today and tonight for much of north and east Alabama. The counties in green on that map. This is basically for areas north and east of a line from near Millport to Tuscaloosa to Montgomery and Eufaula. And again, with this type of air mass, the rain, when it comes, could be pretty heavy. And some spots saw some big rains yesterday, of course. And again, we've got this marginal risk of severe storms today for parts of the state, mainly the eastern half of the state. And yesterday, not a single tornado in the entire state, not a single tornado warning. And hopefully that's the case today. That's very much a possibility. The dynamics are much weaker today, but the instability values will be a little higher. But yesterday, the air was just too stable to support any tornado activity, thank goodness. Tomorrow, no organized severe weather expected across the country, and the same thing on day 3, which is Sunday. Here's a look at rain for the next 7 days, and again, the numbers are elevated here. We're the wettest spot in the entire country. This is suggesting in that yellow area from the Shoals down to Birmingham and near Auburn, Opelika, Phoenix City, rain amounts could exceed 4 inches. And it just depends on where these bands set up. Yesterday, we had a band that set up between Tuscaloosa and Birmingham, and it just sat there. And some folks most likely had 5 inches of rain just yesterday in that spot. And where those tropical bands set up, that will determine who gets the heaviest rain. But based on the projected stationary nature of the remnants of Francine, that looks like that's where the heaviest rain will be. Check weather in the tropics. There's the wide view. Of course, Francine is now post-tropical over Arkansas. Little wave around the Leeward Islands and TD number 7. This is the 7-day outlook. And really a non-tropical low should form off the coast of the Carolinas by Sunday and early next week. And that will be drifting inland. And that really doesn't look like a tropical type system to me, more like a hybrid. But anyway, the Hurricane Center has that highlighted there with the low chance of tropical development. The little feature near the Leeward Islands, that should not develop. And TD number 7, that thing is going to stay far, far, far from land. And it's going to be encountering a lot of dry air. It might just fizzle out completely, but if anything hangs on out there, most likely it turns north. This is the latest ensemble output from the GFS, and most of the members, not all, but most of them, turn it north again, staying far, far from land. So no issues for the Gulf of Mexico, at least for the next 7 days. But keep in mind, the hurricane season runs through the end of November. Here's a look at the modeling, the GFS, the 06Z run. Model fans, valid today at 4 o'clock. The ghost of Francine, not too far from Memphis, troughing back in the northwest United States. Weak surface low is north of Memphis. And again, we are in that moist air mass. So we'll see a number of showers and thunderstorms around today. This is what the radar could look like at 6 o'clock this evening. This is coming off the HRR, HRRR, High Resolution Rapid Refresh, and you can see a number of showers and storms around. So what about the tornado potential? So this is the surface-based CAPE, the instability today at 6 o'clock, and this is much higher than yesterday. We just couldn't have tornadoes yesterday with no unstable air, no surface-based instability. Today will be different. The instability values will be certainly higher. However, look at the SRH, the storm relative felicity. Basically none. This is the veering of the wind with altitude in relation to storm motion. And you got to have some of this here. You got to have that. And it's just not there because the dynamics support is so much weaker. His Francine is so much weaker. So with that being the case, the STP values are just not that meaningful. So I would say the threat of a tornado, it's low. Certainly not zero. And again, even these tropical remnants can surprise you. They can bring a surprise, but not overly bullish on the idea of tornado activity today. But as always, we'll watch the radar. And by the way, a big attaboy to the Weather Service in Birmingham yesterday. Again, a lot of people, they saw rotation on radar with these little showers, and everybody was thinking, man, we need a warning for this. Well, no, you don't. There was no chance any of those could drop a tornado based on the atmospheric conditions. Great job of keeping their finger off that warning button and creating more false alarms. And hopefully today we'll not have any warnings. But again, we'll be watching carefully. But again, go back to the potential radar this evening at 6 o'clock. The high school football games tonight. Take some rain gear, obviously. And again, it's not going to rain everywhere, but at many stadiums, there's certainly the chance of a passing shower. And remember, in this air mass, when the rain comes, it could be heavy. So what about the weekend, you asked? No change. This is tomorrow. Same thing. Soupy air mass. This is the high-resolution HRRR valid tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. And again, we stress the radar will not look exactly like that, but something like that. So we've got Auburn with a home game tomorrow evening around 6, 7 o'clock. Same thing. Take the rain gear. It's not going to rain for the entire game, but be ready for a passing shower. And again, could there be some thunder? Yes, but typically in a tropical setup like this, there's just not that much lightning and thunder, just rain. So mid to upper 70s, cloudy, occasional rain. And quite frankly, it's the same thing on Sunday. Not raining all day, but rain from time to time. And we don't have any tornado threat over the weekend. Monday, we start to trend drier as drier air begins to kind of filter in from the north. Still a chance of showers. And then by Tuesday, the GFS is suggesting any showers should be over the southern quarter of the state. The northern counties are dry. Wednesday, any showers limited to southeast Alabama. Thursday looks dry statewide. Highs getting back in the mid to upper 80s. And a week from today, this is Friday, September 20th, this upper low is kind of spinning away northeast of Alabama. And in that position, we would be in a dry air mass. So, again, the latter half of next week looking dry with highs in the 80s. Let's keep going. We'll go out 10 days. This is Sunday, September 22nd. That upper low drops down to the Florida Peninsula. And again, maybe a few spotty showers, but probably not that much. Rain for Birmingham. Coming off the European ensemble, the mean is up there between 4 and 5 inches between now and the 28th of September. Of course, a lot of that is going to fall today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Temperatures, highs around 80 today, 70s over the weekend and Monday, then back in the 80s for the rest of next week. And the latest 8 to 14-day guidance. This is for September 20th through September 26th. Temperatures maybe a little above average. So the Alabama state bird, what do? Holly Pond. This guy is doing his best to keep that thing tied down, but the state bird always wins. And watch the dog here. Whoa! That dog is probably 3 states away right now. That dog will never look at a trampoline again. Nobody was hurt. The dog was fine. Again, that was in Holly Pond yesterday. So I had a lot of these things yesterday. CLCs, creepy-looking clouds. This was in Northport, and of course everybody's thinking, oh boy, we got a tornado here. Well, no, you don't. That thing is not rotating. Tornadoes rotate rapidly and violently. No rotation at all. Is there any debris in the base? No. That's a scud cloud. And if you're a weather dweeb and if you watch these videos, you know that, but most people don't. And again, look, we don't expect people to all be trained spotters, but again, that is not a tornado. And we see those low-hanging clouds often with tropical features. And really the main problem yesterday was gradient wind. We had winds gusting to 30, 35, 40 miles an hour in spots, and some trees, especially the weakened trees, came down. At one point, we had about 50,000 people in the state without power yesterday. In fact, here where I am, we had no power for a while. But the power company, they do amazing work in getting everything restored. We came back on last night about 11. So on this date in 1979, this is what Gulf Shores looked like. The night before, late the night before, on the 12th, Hurricane Frederick came through. And goodness gracious, what a week for me, and what a week for those on the Gulf Coast. And back in the late 70s, Gulf Shores was basically a sleepy little village, kind of like Apalachicola, Florida. And Frederick came along and just tore everything up. And the rebuilding that came along after Frederick basically started what you see now in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. But this was a horrible situation. This was the Dauphin Island Bridge. It was just taken out. They had to rebuild the whole thing. 145 mile per hour winds recorded at Dauphin Island, and just came right up Mobile Bay. And back in the late 70s, there were no satellite trucks, no internet that people could use for television stuff. They wanted me near a working phone that night. So instead of being on the coast, thank goodness I was in Mobile at a middle school, Azalea Middle School, and I was live on TV on a phone reporting on what was going on down there. And we drove back the day of the 13th to get the video back on TV, and then we went back in a helicopter to do more damage work in the days ahead. But that was my very first week on the air in Birmingham as a television meteorologist. And what a week to remember. But again, that was on this date way back in 1979. All right, so today we've got a couple of stops. Going to be at River and Cape Montessori School in Alabaster, then Westminster School at Oak Mountain, both those schools in Shelby County. And again, we have no book signing tomorrow. And before we go, real quick, let's go back to the radar. We're live at 5:30. Heaviest rain at the moment, the eastern side of the state, Gadsden, Anniston, down toward Lineville, Lafayette, Opelika, Phoenix City. And again, we'll see waves of tropical rain at times today, right on through Sunday. Don't forget to watch us on television this evening. ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great Friday, and God bless.